Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fleetway Sonic experience. And folks, we really are back in a major way. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. The main Sonic story that we've got, magnifique. Love what we got going on with there. And even a lot of the side stuff, we got like pretty good stuff. I mean, Knuckles stories, that's always fun. We love that. But even the Brutus story that we're gonna go through in the beginning, also pretty good. I got no complaints. I really got no complaints.
I think this shit is pretty good. So I can't even complain, man.
It's all very strong. But before we get into the main stuff, we got to start with another special. It is the Sonic Holiday Special 1996. I believe it's the last holiday special too, sadly.
Really? The last one?
I believe so, yeah.
Interesting.
Once we get to like around issue 100, we need to do a little diving around. Not like a super deep dive, but like there's going to be some stuff to talk about in regards to Sonic the Comic. But we are getting ahead of ourselves, guys. We really are. Let's just focus. Let's just start with the first story in the holiday special, written by Nigel Kitching and art by Dobbin. So we see this massive prison hold. 4 Mobians sneaking around trying to escape in the dead of night. They're caught by a trooper till Sonic scraps it. Follows Sonic to a corner, they ask how they're going to get over the wall, and of course in comes Tails. Flies everyone up one by one, last one out, every last one of the Emerald Hill folk have been saved. But in Citadel Robotnik, he is, of course, mauling, losing Sonic, the Emerald Hill folk, hundreds of spy cameras around the planet, and still no sign of this guy. And of course, he swears to find them one day, as Grimer is below. Unfortunately, he thinks Robotnik is in one of his moods. So he comes down to Grimer and immediately just chokes him out, blaming him for not being able to find Sonic. But through his choking says, no, we found him. And why didn't you say so, my dear boy? And just throws him to the ground. On your feet, Grimer, we got work to do. So he goes to a warehouse, swearing Sonic will not escape him this time, and gets this, like, spider-looking mech kind of thing going. And on the outskirts of the Metropolis Zone, Sonic and Tails have a warp post set up, ready to send the 4 of them back to the floating island. The only way to get there nowadays after Robotnik destroyed the other warp posts. But Sonic hears a loud thoom coming behind them, with Sonic and Tails ambushed by a Robotnik mech of this, like, weird contraption thing of an egg-looking cockpit with spider legs on it. Truly an out-there design.
The design of all time.
It truly is. It's like the boneless version of the mech from Archie 200.
I mean, but even then, that design is like entirely,
I mean, that design had sauce. It really did.
I mean, yeah, it had sauce. It's just, this one is like a boneless version of it, but it's like a spider crab. I don't know. I don't even think this shit looks good.
The design of all time. But that was the end of like a part 1. There's some like inserts in there, some articles. In part 2, Sonic tells Tails to get the Mobians to safety, gets behind a caravan. Tails worried that if he sees this, he can give up their cover. Sonic then rushes the machine, believing he can take care of this easily enough, but gets pinched between the glass and one of the legs. Robotnik swears this will be payback for all the times he's been humiliated and had his plans ruined. Sonic asks for an explanation about how he was tracked down and does oblige him off screen, but Tails in the distance tries to go help. And of course, Robotnik ends up just chucking Sonic into the stone wall. Tails sees a crater, thinking no one could have survived that, until a voice booms, "Step aside, fool!" Golden blur flies past him. Of course, Sonic now has become Super Sonic. And let me tell you something, folks. This is going to be a very common theme, is Super Sonic this episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. You'll see why, because, yeah.
Yeah. So Super Sonic slams into the mech. Robotnik can't see where Sonic went until Super Sonic, right behind him, and just throws him out from the glass cockpit, complaining about the pain. So Super Sonic destroys the mech from the inside and demands Robotnik come out. All I want is to incinerate you. And he's nowhere to be seen, but the Emerald Hill folk are gawking at the scene, Supersonic decides he still wants wanton destruction, and I'll take it out on them. But Tails isn't fast enough to intercept. Supersonic actually burns out while flying and ends up crash landing right in the middle of them as Sonic steps out from the smolder. But Tails says there was a casualty. Supersonic did kill one of the Emerald Hill folk. And Sonic grabs Tails and is like, okay, well, wait, which one of them was it? The pig. And then after he's told that, Sonic's like, oh, okay. Legit just like, the care just wipes away from his face, and Tails was like, bro, what do you mean? You killed an innocent bystander! Which, the panel for that goes crazy.
Oh, yeah. His line for this is even more insane. It's, oh, that's all right then. I was worried there for a minute.
It's great. I love that. But then Sonic explains that Robotnik told him that the reason they were able to track them down is because the pig was actually a badnik. And if we took it back with us, Robotnik would have found out about the floating island. And so Sonic hands waves it away as that, well, I guess I was able to remember that even in super form. I'm true. He's just goated. I'm goated, man. What can I say? I'm kind of goated.
Jesus Christ.
And the story ends with them leading the Mobians through the warp post. Yep, Sonic is and always will be goated. Fun story, great start. Let's go on to the next story from Stringer and Hadley. We see some people we haven't seen in a hot minute. Techno and Short Fuse. It has been a while since we've last caught up with these two.
I mean, Techno? I think we saw Short Fuse our last episode?
Yeah, but Techno especially.
Yeah, Techno, it's been a little, yeah.
They're running some tests, all the stuff. Short Fuse still going as strong as ever, and she does offer him something to eat, but our boy is solar powered, so he's fine. You know, for Robotnik being a major polluter, him still relying on solar energy, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Bro said, okay, I guess.
Suddenly, an alarm blares, Techno on a monitor. There are three badniks above the workshop, leading Short Fuse to launch himself up into the sky to handle them. He does so easily as a badnik behind him orders to release the control disc, leading Short Fuse to kind of fry and loses control of his functions. Techno panics. She goes out to help Short Fuse as the control disc is that of Robotnik's, ordering him to find and destroy Sonic the Hedgehog, and flies out with the rest of the badniks. Then the Rocky Desert Zone. The Freedom Fighters finish another mission. Sonic saying, of course, easy as always. Then they all see Short Fuse flying through the horizon, and they welcome him, but they wonder why he's with two other badniks, and no warning, Short Fuse fires on Sonic, telling Amy and Tails to take care of the badniks, I'll deal with him. So Sonic bounces off his armor, Tails and Amy able to quickly handle the badniks, Sonic rapidly moving around Short Fuse, kicking up dust to impair his vision, and punches him. The two are kind of at a standstill, both dazed and confused, and they're stopped by Techno. She introduces herself to the Freedom Fighters and tells them that Short Fuse is being controlled by this magnetic control disc, which they pull it off, and Short Fuse gets his bearings back, he stomps and breaks it. He does apologize for trying to kill Sonic, but Sonic's like, you know, hey, it's all good, man. We all got our off days. Except me.
Why is he like this, man?
He's goated. What can I say? He's the Michael Jordan of this universe, clearly.
I don't want to think about that in any context.
All that done, Short Fuse and Techno take off, hoping the next time they see each other, they're allies in the fight against Robotnik, as we see a quick shot of Robotnik boasting at least he did find a way to take control of Cybernik, and the next time he'll find a way to make it permanent. And that is the end of this story. However, I do also want to point out that in between this story and the next, there is an article insert advertising Sonic Extreme.
I was about to bring this up. Yeah, there's a whole article insert talking about Sonic Extreme. He attempts to get his itchy fingers on the 6 magical Rings of Order, Master Ringsmith, and Professor Boobowski.
And remember, if you listen, Sonic Talk Show listeners, you'll remember that story was completely made up just so that STI had something to give him.
There are no words, bro. Like, actually no words. Jesus.
Oh man. Go listen to that episode. It's a fun one. But anyway, our final story for this special, Stringer and Hadley again. Sonic and the Freedom Fighters, another round of destroying troopers in a peaceful village, and after the fight, one of the civilians asked Sonic to autograph a headshot with him in Mobius Movie Stars magazine. And he does oblige, but he asks himself, why am I in a movie magazine? Well, according to the article, director Steven Squealbird.
Why, bro? Jesus. Okay.
Director Steven Squealbird is holding auditions to play Sonic in a movie. And he's surprised to learn this and decides to track him down. There's only one dude cool enough to play the part of a heroic hedgehog in a movie, and that's yours truly. So Sonic leads the Freedom Fighters out the village. Come on, gang, we're gonna be in the pictures. And as they make their way out, Johnny wonders who this director's is. I've never heard of a Steven Squealbird before. And Sonic figures, come on, he's gotta be a real one. He's making a movie about me after all. Once they arrive at the studio, they find the soundstage and the director himself. And he even decides to forego the audition. Well, there's no one better to play Sonic than Sonic himself. So, I can't believe I have to say this. Let's get shooting.
Huh?
Please don't take that out of context.
Bro, what?
Please don't take that out of context.
Bro, are we serious right now? What?
Big things truly are happening in the Sonic the Comic writers room, folks.
Jesus, man. What were they cooking?
Then in front, Sonic, Amy, and Johnny get ready for close-ups until the director here reveals himself as Dr. Robotnik in disguise.
Bro said, "It's me," and took off the mask.
He has the camera fire some bluish gunk, covering the three of them in mega glue, he calls it. And he's got the antidote. It hardens in seconds. Robotnik planted that fake story in the magazine because he knew Sonic's vanity would have him chase after this. But Sonic tells him, don't congratulate yourself just yet. And just before the glue hardens, he runs and stretches the glue around Robotnik, trapping him too. He's all wrapped up in the hardening glue and orders the troopers to use the antidote. And he's freed, but so are the Freedom Fighters. One bonk to the head later, Tails is able to free himself when the troopers loosen their grip, and they destroy each other in the skirmish. Robotnik retreats, Tails catches up with the rest of the group, and in the cooldown, Amy does think that it sucks that this wasn't for real, you know? Sonic would have made for a great screen idol. And Sonic, of course, says, any movie starring me would be a smash hit. Which is a very funny thing to say in 2024.
Bro is jerking himself off at all times.
Hey, by the way, Paramount.
Yeah, where the fuck's the trailer, guys?
Anyway, that's the end of what I guess is the last special that we'll have to read for Sonic the Comic. I mean, hey, look, if it is the last one, this was a very strong final one. I will say, all these stories were pretty good.
Yeah, they were alright. At least for me. Doesn't necessarily mean I think it was bad, just it was okay.
Yeah.
And that's alright, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into the meat of this episode, guys. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Sonic the Comic, issue 80. Our first story, as always, brought to us by our goats, Kitching and Elson. We open the Emerald Chamber on the floating island. Sonic and Poker are digging around the ruined area looking for Knuckles. Porker tries to explain to Sonic that Knuckles had this whole fight with this robot head and met this other echidna named Dr. Zachary, but Sonic's like, no, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to know about a boring story.
Bro said, I don't want the echidna lore. Don't tell me about echidna lore, man. I simply do not care.
You know what? Smart move.
Yeah, bro said, I just don't give a shit, bro. Just leave me alone.
But Sonic says he's not here to see Knuckles. He actually wanted to see Porker. Not like to convince him to come back to the Freedom Fighters, just wanted to see how he was doing. And Porker says he's doing fine, but I do feel like I let everyone down in the end. But Sonic's like, no, man. You did more than your fair share in the end. And Porker appreciates that, but he does miss them. Amy especially. No, I don't want to think about her right now, man. She's driving me up the wall.
Yeah, bro is not having it. He is over this shit. He's just like, all right, let's get in, let's get out.
Sonic tries to relax. He sits on the edge of the rotunda that's holding the emeralds until an alarm blares, asking intruders to identify themselves. And at that second, the edge that Sonic is on crumbles and falls into the emerald chamber. The voice came from the robot head, which identifies Porker and gives the robot shit for startling them, but he thinks he should have warned Sonic about it too. So Robot asks if Porker worries that the fall killed Sonic, and he's like, no. The fall's not the problem. The thing is, with Sonic being exposed to so much chaos energy, he says as he runs behind a wall, when the energy overflows, Sonic crawls up from the rotunda as Super Sonic, his hatred consuming him and seeks to destroy. He thinks of a name. What was I thinking of? Amy Rose. He flies, shoots up through the ceiling and into the sky. And we skip 100 miles away about so. a cargo ship delivering soldiers bound for Metropolis. The piloting troopers see on their radar something coming in hot and fast, being supersonic, barreling through, destroying the ship. Meanwhile, at the caravan, the freedom fighter caravan, Tails is learning shooting from Amy, but he's a little dejected, can't hit the can. But he's not really beating himself up over it. It's not like we need a second sharpshooter with Amy around. And she comments, I won't always be around, maybe. You never know, right? As Johnny comes running to them, getting a call from Porker about Sonic. Fortunately, the message is received a little too late, as Supersonic is seen rushing down headfirst for the attack.
Okay, all right, okay.
We got a little bit of sauce here going on. And you know what? Before we continue, I actually got a little something special prepared, guys. One of our patrons, T-Ranger, he let me know about a little fan animation which adapts this story, and he wanted us to react to it, so I thought, you know what? Let's party. Let's party, why don't we? There we go. All right, let's just see.
It's a preview.
Yeah, it's a preview because it never got finished, but I'll tell the whole story.
Okay.
Hello? Is anybody there? I don't think Knuckles is here, Porker. That echidna sure is a messy housekeeper.
No, you don't understand, Sonic.
That's a great voice for Porker.
Okay, I get
What
it.
happened to the rest of it?
Well, it did have a body, but that was when it was working for Dr. Zachary. Dr. Zachary, you see, it was one of Knuckles' race of echidnas.
Wait, pause. I need to contextualize this, that if I was hearing this story come out of that mouth with this voice, I too would have the reaction of, dog, you need to shut the fuck up right now.
You know what?
Bro is yapping about echidna lore. I'm over here
Brother got his degree in yaponomics. Of course Sonic shut him up.
yeah, bro said, I'm not having this shit.
At first, and then...
Forget it, Porker. The last thing I want to do is listen to one of your boring stories. Anyway, I didn't really come to the floating island to see Knuckles. It was you I wanted to see, Porker.
Me?
Don't worry, old buddy. I'm not gonna ask you to join us in the fight against Robotnik again. I've just come to see how you are.
I'm fine, Sonic. Life's much better since I moved to the floating island, but I still can't help feeling I let everyone down. I miss you all, especially Amy.
Don't mention her, buddy. Lately, she's been driving me up the wall.
Intruders, identify yourselves.
Huh?
Sonic, look out! Sonic!
Porker Lewis, I did not recognize you in this poor light.
You stupid robot! Look what you've done! No! It's my fault! I should have warned Sonic that you were there! Oh dear!
You are afraid that the fool has killed your friend?
No! You don't understand! It's all that emerald energy! It's bound to affect Sonic! I've gotta hide! If Sonic sees me! Oh dear, oh dear!
I do not understand.
Shut up! Just shut up, robot! If you're lucky, Sonic won't notice you!
Return. Once again, I am supersonic. My hatred consumes you. I must find something to destroy. A name. Who was it? Who was I just thinking of before? Amy Rose.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was actually really good.
Yeah, for a fan animation, that was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, so this was done by Felipe Yuski. This was actually released on the 20th anniversary of the series. Unfortunately, it was never finished. Even though that this is basically half the story, that is really, really good.
I mean, the fact that this whole story could have been, if it was finished, it would probably be 6 or 7 minutes tops. I think that also speaks on the length of these comics and they feel like they're cut up halves and stuff like that. But I'm not using this as a criticism right now. I'm more just like speaking about this in like general terms, you know, like the animation was really like obviously it wasn't amazing, but like they did a good job of adapting the story and like making it feel like more intense, and the music was really good. I really liked it. It was solid.
Yeah, 100% the same. Very impressive they were able to adapt Richard Elson's art style into animation, because that's like a major, like, I wouldn't say a major criticism, but a big note oftentimes when adapting something from comics to animation is that the art style is like, you have to make like concessions and stuff like that. But here, very, very good job. Sonic's voice was pretty good. Porker, his voice was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they really nailed the most annoying possible person you can get as a voice actor, and they just said, all right, fuck it, we let it rock.
Still, very impressive, and honestly, I'm a little sad that it was never fully finished. So, but still, very good. T-Ranger, thanks so much for sending this my way. Very good. Thank you for the addition. So now that's like burned into our heads a little bit, let's keep going here with our B story. Kitching and Dobbin, who both of them wrote it this time, and Dobbin did the art, of course. In the special zone, Charmy is kind of just being annoying.
I mean, bro talking.
He's just going at it just for fun. It's so annoying he's just eventually kicked out of their base and flies off by himself. The rest of the Chaotix thank Vector for doing it. The little runt had it coming, Mighty says.
Okay.
Damn, they're just... Look, I get it, but like y'all are kind of being a little bit of haters right here. Come on. I get it, though. SBO Doe hears something trying to break through the wall, and does so, the three of them recognizing who they are met with. 4 individuals that go by the name of the Fundamental Four, Hydrant, Gravel, Squall, and Flare. Yeah, these are the Fantastic Four.
How the fuck did they not get sued for this?
I mean, it's like distinct enough, but like Fundamental Four?
Yeah, it's legally distinct Fantastic Four.
Good lord. So they use their various abilities to hinder and restrain the Chaotix. Flare nearly scorches Hydrant's shadow body, and they kind of start to bicker amongst themselves, and the Chaotix try to use this to their advantage, but are restrained once again. Meanwhile, Charmy's just kind of hanging out in the clouds, thinking he should probably go back to the base now. Maybe they feel sorry about kicking me out, but notices the Fundamental ship, and looks in a window. The others are about to be liquidized by them for revenge for being locked up the past 4 years. Charmy knows he can't take them on by himself, so all he can think of, our boy needs to go back to the Hive. So that's a quick summary of the story here. The Hive. Sure. Okay.
Okay. Why would we call it the Hive, though?
I mean, our boy's going home, and you'll see what he means by that.
Yeah. If you guys are ready for B-lore. All right, you know what? No. Hold on. You know what? I gotta fucking say it. Right now. Okay. We are going to start a dialogue. So do you agree that the Charmy lore in Archie was complete absolute dog shit that should have never happened in the first place?
Yeah, him. I mean, look, I give him credit for trying, right? I give him credit for trying something, but like, look.
Look, man, the B-War shit? No.
Hey, look, listen. I need you to remember, guys, if you don't remember, it's been a while since Archie Sonic, but like, the B-Lore started when Charmy's alleged best friend died of an LSD overdose. How are we supposed to take it seriously when that's our introduction?
You're not supposed to, at all. Like, that's what's crazy about it to me. Like, it's so blatantly bullshit. It's crazy.
Oh my god. And look, we'll comment further as we go along with that story. But Story C now, by Stringer and Corona. Tails. Focusing on Tails. He's going to Metropolis, but takes a shortcut through Casino Night, getting distracted by a cry for help. A Brutus trooper is about to kill 2 Mobians. All organic life is to be exterminated. Tails responds, swoops down, scraps the trooper. The 2 are happy to be saved, though, you know, one of them say they would rather have been saved by Sonic, but this works too. Bro, you're really...
Bro, why would you do that to him? He did nothing wrong.
He helped your ass out. You know what? Is this what it's like to be British? Is this just what it is like?
I mean, this is just the fucking norm, I guess. Like, being British means that you just say the most insane shit ever, and you're just like, okay.
Well, nearby, Tails' old little buddy Fleabite. He sees Tails. He lost his cash at the casino, but thinks his luck is about to change. capturing Tails in the net, hoping Brutus will pay handsomely for him. But the troopers make no exception for Fleabite, despite him having a robot arm. Both he and Tails are captured in the same cell. And of course, Tails does not appreciate being trapped in here with this guy, and asks if that robot arm is good for anything like laser shots. Well, no, but I can pick locks with the claws, and he is able to open the cage free. They're both out, and forces the troopers to open fire for hot execution. Tails can dodge the fire quickly. Sonic, having taught him cool dudes like them don't need weapons to fight. They got on their back, some more troopers firing. Tails thinks fast, throws a bucket of syrup on the ground, which I guess was just, someone just had it out there. That was someone's breakfast, Tails, I suppose. The troopers end up slipping and sliding towards a nearby building and get owned. Tails grabs Fleabite, flies up and away as the troopers end up getting electrocuted on top of that. Now safe, Fleabite thanks Tails for his efforts by trying to kidnap him once again. Tails won't fall for the same trick twice, takes the net in the air, ties him up. And the people are thankful for Tails' efforts, even ask him to stay as the zone's protector. He still wants to join Sonic, but he does think that Sonic would want him to stay behind to protect everybody. Sonic can hold out on his own for a while. We'll see about that in this next story. By Stringer and Kitching did the art.
Yeah, so this is a continuation of the Brutus attacks the Capitol plotline.
In Metropolis Zone, Brutus is raining hellfire on the city, the debris falling on the people. Sonic's still just trying to recover from a concussion. But Sonic sees another badnik coming in hot. This one happens to be Short Fuse. The two catch each other up to speed and head on out to rescue Amy and Johnny. Inside the Citadel, Grimer wonders why Robotnik is so calm. Your badniks are losing, but Robotnik has a way to deal with Brutus. The room's wall is blasted down, Brutus declaring himself a usurper. Robotnik says he did expect this kind of when he was programmed with his brain and prepared for this moment. Pulls out a remote switch, press of a button, it activates the self-destruct implant. Die, traitor! Pushing it several times. Brutus is untouched. It worked up against the metallics, but this guy, Brutus just laughs it off. I found the implant and deactivated it. Now, troopers, prove your loyalty and kill Robotnik. Just before they take the shot, though, Sonic and Short Fuse crash through the window, crashing the party, as it were. Brutus orders them, turn your guns toward the outlaws. And Robotnik kind of boasts that Sonic just saved his life, but don't expect any gratitude, Spikeball. Sonic says he can have some bad timing every once in a while. Sonic handles the troopers, Short Fuse confronts Brutus, boasting his armor is made out of Megatol, the strongest metal on Mobius. Though Brutus is not impressed, he is composed of it as well, punching Short Fuse and driving him into the ground, trapped in the floor on top of that. And Brutus warns Sonic, do not attack or you'll never see your friends again. And Sonic does agree to hold off, but I want to see my friends alive. Trooper tells Brutus that Robotnik and Grimer escaped, and Brutus hand waves it away, I'll track him down later, and does proceed to grant Sonic's request, showing both Amy and Johnny having been roboticized to Bruder's army and sicked on Sonic. Well, I'm not gonna lie, their mecha designs kind of do go a little bit.
I don't know, I think they look a little silly personally.
I mean, all of his badniks look silly, so at least it stays in the theme.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of issue 80. Also another strong start, so let's follow up with the Supersonic storyline in issue 81, Kitching and Elson. Supersonic, barreling down, Amy dead in his sights, dodging just the last second as Supersonic crashes into the caravan. The integrity of that is the least of our problems right now. The wood has caught fire. Johnny wonders if Sonic reverted back while in the fire, but he's still super, flies up, and boasts that these flames can't hurt him while in his super form. And the Freedom Fighters take cover behind a rock. They can't find him and hope he's just gone, but Supersonic has tracked them down. And also, for the record, him falling in the Emerald Chamber kinda juiced up Supersonic pretty bad, and now he's capable of firing eye lasers, destroying their cover.
Bro can just become Superman, I guess.
He does another dive bomb, another lucky dodge, and just ends up head bombing a cliffside. Again, the Freedom Fighters wonder, did Sonic revert back? But no, he's still super, digs his way out. But they wonder how they can defeat this thing, and Johnny asks Tails to fly away and get Knuckles to help, but he doesn't want to run away and leave him behind. But flying does give Amy an idea, and tells the boys to follow her, reaching the tornado, thankfully unscathed. Supersonic's still on the hunt for them, and sees the tornado in the air, wanting to finish the job, fires his eye lasers, and the tornado is shot down. We've got a full-page spread of Supersonic laughing maniacally as he eventually just powers down to normal. And when his head clears, Sonic looks around at the damage he caused and wonders what exactly he did.
So I gotta talk about the art. Jesus fucking Christ, the art is amazing in this issue.
Yeah, this one especially.
Yeah, this specific story, god fucking damn, it's so good.
I want to give a special shout out to the page where Supersonic is depowering. I mean, as you go through
so good.
it's like
so good.
There's like this like haunting, like harrowing feeling to it, captured perfectly. Excellent, A+, incredible artwork.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Yeah, so this is pretty wild. Sonic inadvertently falling into the Emerald Pit, causing this whole mess to start, is, this is definitely a development. And now the question becomes, okay, so how the fuck do we deal with Supersonic? Because he's literally unstoppable.
Yeah, the only thing they can do now is literally wait for time to run out, and just hope Sonic doesn't Hulk out effectively.
But we know that's not inherently just not gonna happen.
Well, you guys can digest that story. We'll move on to the next story, written by Dobbing and Kitchen, and Dobbing doing the art solo. So these fundamental guys, they're one button push away from liquidizing 3 of the 4 Chaotix, intending to hunt Charmy down after they've handled Vector, Espio, and Mighty. Speaking of, we see Charmy leading a legion of worker bees, thankful the Queen let him borrow so many. And she's lucky she did, since it's been months since his last visit. But, I've been busy, saving the world. So the worker bees charge into the base, breaking the glass, and go to work to literally dismantle the 4 of them. The bees cutting up the paper body, mixing the water in his head with Gravel's body, shoveling the dirt clumps together, and dousing Flare with fucking gasoline to make his body spiral out of control. The resulting mixture turns the 4 into a basic clay pot. How did this happen?
I don't know, maybe the elements just mixed together and it just caused this fuck shit. Yeah, I mean,
No, yeah, obviously. I'm thinking of like Dobbin and Kitchen. What made you think this is how to end a story?
I don't know, man. They were just like, fuck it, we gotta get it. We have a quota to hit. Let's just end it like this, I guess. And they're just like, okay.
The rest of the Chaotix are freed, but Vector is surprised they defeated them by turning them into a pot. That's too stupid. Yeah, you're right, Vector. You're sure right, buddy. But Charmy says, hey, look, my family here now, they can really liven the place up, don't you think? But Vector is not willing to have more of Charmy around and kicks him and the rest of the bees out. So much for gratitude, he says. And as for the fundamental 4, there's still sentient faces on the pot demanding their rights be acknowledged. All right. What a fun story this was.
Yeah, legally distinct Fantastic Four show up and then into, hey guys, we have rights as a pot.
Oh my god, dude. So, let's just move on from that. Story sees Stringer and Hadley again. Tails patrolling the skies of the casino night, taking care of Brutus's badniks with ease, and he can handle them pretty quickly, but not quickly enough, says this guy. This lizard-looking guy. He introduces himself as Max Gamble, the owner of this local casino, and he's losing business as people are staying home, of course, fearing the badnik attacks. I gotta say, this design is like, it's not a ripoff, but this definitely just looks like Spider-Man's the lizard,
I mean, he also looks adjacent to the fucking Goombas from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, no. Oh, man. You know what? Here's a funny story about that. When I was a kid, my aunt, one Thanksgiving, she had that on VHS, and that was like, for whatever reason, the only movie she had on VHS for some reason. And let me tell you, I played that as a little kid, and my life and my way of thinking was truly altered after seeing that movie on a tiny, 6-inch CRT.
I mean, I too would have a mental breakdown if I saw that movie as a child.
Anyway, Tails is doing his best with these badniks, but Gamble insists that he get the work done faster, or my boys will be paying you a visit, as he of course walks away. And Tails thinks that this guy is just a bully, and the 2 locals think Tails is doing great, the best there is. Best next to Sonic, of course, and Tails like, okay, yeah, story of my fucking life, man. But these 2 guys, they introduce themselves as Mark and Sparks, the electrical engineers in charge of the zone. Maybe we can help you defeat the badniks. They take Tails to their shop, and they put him inside of a badnik shell to disguise himself among them. Tails looking for assurance that this plan will work. And Tails says, yeah, of course it's gonna work. And if it fails, go to plan B, as Tails takes off. And in disguise, Tails follows the Badniks to a supposed hideout in an abandoned building, landing in with the rest of them. But the backside kind of pops out, reveals his Tails, he's instantly outed. Time for plan B. Flying out and leading the Badniks toward an electrical plant, Mark's shouting for Tails to fly them between the two pylons as Spark throws a switch. This electrocutes the Badniks and saves the Mobians inside. The whole system was pretty easy to rig up on their part. Although, Gamble arrives, angry that this stunt caused a power outage, his machines aren't working, and I'm losing money here, kid. But the saved people basically gang up on him, saying that our lives were saved and all you care about is money. Leave us alone or we'll never go to your casinos again. And that does make him back down. Only tells him get power going ASAP and just leaves Tail between his legs. So Tails does have to get out of here now to rejoin Sonic. And in the night he goes. Gamble thinks to himself he was made to look like a loser back there and swears this won't be the last time he'll see Tails. Well, that was just a silly little story, wasn't it?
A monkey. Electrical monkey.
Monkey. Oh my god. What a great movie that was, wasn't it?
I mean, it's like a 7 out of 10. I don't even think it's that bad. I think it's kind of like it's just a 5 or 6 out of 10. Like, it's just an 80s movie with like the Super Mario Brothers name attached to it. It's not horrible.
That movie kind of has what I like to call an Archie Sonic canon moment, because it's kind of said that the Mario Brothers names, like, their last names are Mario, and Luigi Mario. And that just kind of stuck with the community, even like not as recently, but for quite a long time.
Jesus.
Anyway, that fun fact out of the way, the last story we got for this issue. Stringer and Kitching. Being countered by the roboticized Amy and Johnny, Sonic has to think quick, dodges ammo from Johnny, Amy swooping down to catch him, but throws him toward a billboard. He crashes through it, knowing that these badniks do mean business, but he can't fight his friends, he thinks. Brutus figures he can let those badniks handle Sonic, and he'll hunt down Grimer and Robotnik himself. And Short Fuse pulls himself out from the floor, refusing to give up the fight even if he's stronger than him. Brutus says, well, there's no ifs about it. No one is stronger than Commander Brutus. Chucks him, throws him out the window as he screams, okay, point taken. Sonic dodges the fire from Johnny, about to hit him with the spin attack, but misses, thinking he's holding back because he's fighting his friends. Short Fuse is also thrown toward him, as Sonic shouts, hey, there's no time to spare, putty, we gotta move. Johnny fires on him, as he had just enough being picked on, and blasts Johnny, the Badnik shell he's in being ripped apart and freed. Saved by Sonic in the air, now they just gotta deal with Amy, firing a barrage of arrows. Meanwhile, under the Citadel, Grimer tries to talk Robotnik out of using the war armor. It's still untested, but he thinks it's the only defense they have against Brutus, who's following them with infrared vision and is caught off guard with a punch to the face. Robotnik clad in the armor, which this is basically just the Hulkbuster Iron Man armor, effectively.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not even being subtle about it, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We love that. The two are ready to have a good old face-off. And yep, that's the end of the story. Another solid round here. And let's continue on. What is going on with the Supersonic thing? That's what I really... Yeah. Sonic the Comic issue 82. Kitching and Elsing wrote it together with Elson doing the art. A seedy bar in Metropolis. A bunch of people drinking, talking over this rumor that Supersonic killed the Freedom Fighters, while there's a guy sitting at the bar, head to toe covered in a shawl, depressingly telling them they're being very funny. Guy over here doesn't take it lightly, rips his hood down, revealing Sonic. And he's like, whoa, hey man, I'm not looking for trouble here. And this bar people, they intend to collect the reward Robotnik has out on him. And Sonic tells them, oh no, please get back, I can't get upset. They take this as him being scared. And he is, but more scared of what he's going to do to them. The stress, too much for him to handle, and on the spot transforms into Supersonic, the manic state destroying the building, presumably killing everyone inside. What a way to start, huh?
Yeah, just a great way to start. Absolutely fantastic. He doesn't destroy the building, by the way. Everyone runs and tries to escape, but...
Alas, still scary. 1 second earlier, we see the Freedom Fighters perfectly fine, still tracking Sonic using the latent emerald radiation that's on him to track with Kentober's computer. They're able to keep a hold on him until they see a sudden spike in energy. That's because, as they see now, he transformed back into Supersonic. He confronts them, wondering how they're still alive, seeing as he downed the tornado. Amy walks up, as Johnny and Tails are pulling something covered in a tarp behind her. She says she used the Kentobor computer to fly it remotely. We were never on it. And they've been tracking you down for weeks now. We just want to help you get better. As Supersonic laughs at the notion, I am the most powerful being on Mobius. Why would I ever want to go back to being that blue weakling? The only ones who need help are you. Dive bombs at Amy, barely dodging, with Tails revealing the object under the tarp is a warp post. Tails keeps Supersonic attention as Amy attaches Kintobor's computer into the warp post, which now holds Supersonic in a tractor beam. He's flying around rapidly, trying to break free from the hold, Amy shouting for Kintobor to increase the power at all costs, resulting in Supersonic to get sucked right into the post. However, this doesn't result in Supersonic disappearing. Rather, Sonic is now depowered. He bounces off the post and falls to the ground steaming. Then the boys catch up Sonic on what happened. As Kintobor explains to Amy, there's some weird energy readings coming from the special zone. It's possible, it's very well possible, Supersonic is now a separate entity in the special zone. Folks, now we're fucking cooking! Now we got something interesting!
So this is something that I knew about, and I'm pretty sure Alberto knew about in Fleetway for a long time, is that yes, Supersonic as an entity is now completely separate from regular Sonic. How and what happens from here? Because you have to think about it, right? How do you deal with something that is literally unstoppable and is now a separate entity?
See, it's bad enough, right? It's bad enough when, like, you have to deal with, like, Sonic transforming into this at, like, any second. But now you have to kind of gauge the situation. It's like, okay, Sonic's fine now, but now his, like, crazy, unstoppable, godlike other half now is separate from him and could pose a insane threat if not dealt with. Folks, how can they deal with this? What could happen here? Anything could happen, really. I mean, good lord. As for, and Amy, she kind of asked that very same question. How could he exist on his own? But that's a problem for another day, Sonic says. He thanks everyone for their efforts. I owe you one. Which I guess is the most you'll ever get out of Sonic to be grateful. And that's the end. That's the end of this particular story in this issue, but we got a little bit more. We got some more meat to dive down on that one. Our B story with Kitching and Dobbing, we're back following our boy Knuckles. He's been rowing across the Mobian Channel for the past 2 days, but it'll all be worth it to get these diagrams back to the floating island, get the systems all back online. And in the water, Knuckles sees something moving towards the boat. A giant tentacle-looking thing, could be a badnik. And more, a total of 8 of them now showing up. Destroying the boat, Knuckles barely able to save the chest. He takes it to a little land piece, the only thing on it being a rock formation, and Knuckles climbs up it for safety. But one of the tentacles is able to destroy it, taking Knuckles under the water. And these tentacles grab him, dragging Knuckles down, and he can only hold his breath for so long, just barely getting free and going up for air. As behind a sea craft approaches, being piloted by a crab by the name of Captain Claw, owing claim to the Mobian Channel. He wants to turn Knuckles over to Robotnik for a reward. It's not as high as Sonic's reward, but I'll take it, you know? The tentacles return to below the cockpit attaching, and they demand Knuckles to surrender. Okay. Alright, good start.
Okay.
Alright, start.
Okay.
Water fight, that's new. That's new for this series. But, story C with Stringer and Flint. We see a zone being laid to waste, and Tails only oversees it while doing nothing. The people wonder if he's turned traitor or coward. And honestly, the art here is funny as hell. Tails is just standing over it, arms crossed. Motherfucker thinks he's Batman, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy as a bird is being, completely terrorized by this giant fucking tank. Like,
well,
okay, bro.
So
okay.
What's the deal here? Tails is flying over Echo City Zone. It's already been destroyed, wishing he could have been able to prevent it. Sadly, they can't be around to help every place under attack by Robotnik or Brutus, but there must be a way to make things right. And Tails barely dodges a lightning strike, just almost getting fried. But he rushes over on the guy who's on the ground and helps. And as Tails helps the guy up, this guy is talking, but not in a very clear way. Tails thinks it's another language entirely. On top of that, he sees a wall falling up and back into place. And also sees another guy running backwards, shouting the same way. And Tails thinks this lightning strike might be making him experience time in reverse. Okay.
Okay. I mean, it's not a bad concept. It's just okay.
All right. On top of that, he feels some rumbling nearby, being a large tank moving through and rewind, and unfortunately was on the path of an explosion. Even the sound effect played in reverse, which even Tails was like, what the fuck was that?
Bro, the sound effect in reverse is crazy. Can you imagine hearing like the sound of like something hitting a wall and then just hearing the reversed version of it?
Ugh. He works out that in order to do something, he kind of just needs to let the tank play itself out and wait for it to stop doing damage, just waiting on a rooftop and watching it pass. And he sees the moment before the tank rolled in, flies overhead, and dive bombs at the tank, the shooter spotting him, and when he just touches the tank, it suffers a massive explosion. And Tails figures that's what happens when two objects touch going in reverse directions of time. And Tails sees the civilians running towards him and thank him for stopping the tank before anything happened, figuring that the explosion must have set things in the right flow for him. Regardless, the people appreciate him, history's changed, and Tails is on his way out once again. Crazy story. Actually crazy. It kind of does give the vibe of like the older like medieval Tales Chosen One stories, you know?
I mean, I have no clue like what their intention was here, but like I'm not necessarily gonna complain. It's fine, I guess. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, just a silly one for good measure. And as for the Brutus story with Stringer and Kitching, Mecha Amy fires a barrage of arrows to Sonic, and he uses the slipstream of his speed to suck in the arrows and redirects them toward Amy, which chip away from her badnik shell and freeze her. So she's safe, thanking Sonic with a kiss on the cheek suddenly, very off-putting to Sonic having experienced a murderer 1 second and mushy as a marshmallow the next. Well, let me tell you, Sonic, that happens with women. It's just like that, bro.
I don't know if it's like that, man.
Look, I just have... I have... You know what? I'm just not going to say anything. Imagine whatever you want. Anyway, don't know. I'm not going to say nothing.
You had to stop yourself. You were like...
there's some things you guys don't need to know about myself. Anyway, Sonic doesn't really know which of the two is worse here. The Freedom Fighters plan to get out of here before Brutus shows his ugly mug. Speaking of, he launched himself through the ground, Robotnik in his mech suit following behind him, in Amy's words, to have a showdown. The Freedom Fighters take shelter behind debris, Johnny thinking, what side do we take here? Sonic says, look, man, we don't take sides here. Let's sit back and watch this play out. Brutus fires a laser cannon, and Robotnik just eats it with the suit taking heavy damage, and Brutus demands Robotnik admit defeat. You programmed me with a copy of your mind. I am your equal. Robotnik figured this could have been the case, at the time of you being programmed, but I got a new trick up my sleeve, and fires a freezing strike, stopping Brutus in his place. Oh, we could have accomplished so much together, Brutus. A pity you inherited my ambition. A punch later, Brutus is just scrapped. Robotnik holding his head, asking Grimer how much of a pity it is that metal gets cold at cold temperatures like this, huh? Alright, revolution's over. Freedom Fighters take this as a win. Unfortunately, Robotnik's still around, but I guess we can't have everything. Which then ends with Robotnik broadcasting a message all over the world, saying Brutus's revolution has been crushed, the Batniks once under his control are now under Robotnik, and the hunt for the outlaws remains on, declaring himself as the permanent, true ruler of Mobius. As Sonic watches his side of the broadcast saying, yeah, say forever, Bone Dome. Well, that's the end of that story, and it was really good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the revolution came and went. Brutus is taken care of, and things are back to status quo now. R.I.P. Brutus.
Well, not completely. Robotnik still has his head, so maybe we could see a 2.0, maybe?
Nah, I feel like he maybe wouldn't do that for his own sake.
I mean,
we don't know, though.
That's true. However, there is something else that we have not followed up on yet, which is the Knuckles Metallics yet. So you never know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We never know. Anyway, that's the end of the comic, and let's go to issue 83. Our first story, Stringer and Corona. Robotnik is reviewing some data files of Sonic during last battles, and actually came to an interesting conclusion. Sonic can't swim. But, Grimer adds, Sonic can inhale air bubbles underwater to keep an oxygen flow, and asks Grimer to make something to counteract that. As Sonic and Tails, meanwhile, answer a distress call at the Labyrinth Zone. Nobody is here. It's obviously a trap, Tails thinks, and Sonic does agree, but it was a slow day. I wanted to play along. Sonic, bro. One of these days, it's gonna catch up to you, man.
Bro said, okay, I guess.
This trap consists of some new spider badniks that spit fire, both barely dodging the shots. Another spider badnik swings at Sonic from behind and leading him to be thrown under the water. A lucky shot, he calls it. Sonic sinks below, sees some more spider badniks destroying them, and goes to a bubble field to get some air. But this bubble, when touching it, actually traps him within. It seems to be made out of some tough plastic, and can't pop even when trying to hit himself with the spiker badnik nearby. All the while, Robotnik relishing in this situation. On the surface, Tails is outnumbered but is holding his own against the badniks until Spider webs him and stops him in place. As under the lake, the bubble is actually starting to shrink and constrict Sonic. It's going to suffocate him the more air he uses, and he can't swim up or stay here. And in desperation, he uses some debris, like to use his claws to scale up a wall fixture and to get back to the surface next to Tails, the bubble melting, taking the fire shot directly. And he's freed. Sonic smashes all the badniks around, even the one that bonked Sonic into the lake to begin with. Grimer and Robotnik call the situation a wash, but this did inspire Robotnik to make future traps even nastier. That's a fun one and done, I think.
In and out, quick and easy.
We love to see it, folks. Back to our Knuckles story, kitching and daubing. Captain Claw, this dude, wants to capture Knuckles for Robotnik's reward, of course. Knuckles thinking he's a real fool for thinking I'd go quietly, but Claw wants this guy to fight. He rarely ever gets to use my Octonaut shit through its paces. And takes the challenge. Knuckles dives under the water, trying to drill under the ship to sink it, but gets shocked by the circuitry running under the body. And Claw even sees the smoldering underwater, causing Knuckles to rush back up to Claw directly, but a tentacle swipes him away. Knuckles pulls back a bit to climb up the rock for a breather, but Claw gives him no time to recover, barreling through the rock forms and having to hop through them. As the rocks kind of tumble one by one, the rocks fall right on top of Claw's ship and critically damage it. So, he admits defeat, and thankfully, the floating island documents are miraculously safe. Unfortunately, they are marooned. Although, the story ends with Knuckles holding onto the chest still, both him and Claw on the wreckage as he forces Claw to row. Oh, you can't keep me like this. I'm a prisoner of war. I have rights. Shut up and keep rowing. All right, so another list for echidna war crimes.
I mean, how many? How many have they committed? We still don't know what the fuck their deal is in this comic.
What is their deal? Where'd they go? What happened, huh?
Yeah, what happened, man?
Why do you think they felt the need to leave? What did they do? That's my question. What did they do, folks?
Didn't they commit a genocide on a bunch of Triceratops?
Yeah, but maybe that's not the only thing on the list. I doubt that's the only thing on the list.
Thing on the list, they committed multiple sins and crimes.
Anyway, Story C with Stringer and Hadley. Over the Grim Zone, Tails is flying over and remembers how this place was with all green before Robotnik came in and polluted the place. Just as a badnik flies up to Tails, swats him down from the sky, being too fast to keep up with. And he barely dodges an energy shot too, with these badniks always being in a bad mood. And the badnik talks back to Tails, saying it's his fault he was made like this. But Tails responds that Robotnik is the reason you were put into a badnik shell. But the badnik says he did it to make himself stronger so I could hunt more outlaws like you. Oh, well, it's nice to have a hobby. Not taking the joke lightly, chucks Tails into a building, recovering with his tails and flying away. Tails thinks this badnik must be an old enemy of mine, but who exactly could it be? Tails turns around to try an offensive, but dodges laser fire, moving back on defense. He's getting a little tired, but tries something out, holding in place in front of a pillar, taunts the badnik to shoot him, misses, and this pillar collapses right on top of the badnik. Tails goes down to check the rubble and comes to find in the shell is Metamorphia. Wow, look at that. Ooh, I wonder what happened to her.
Wow, she's just there, man.
He recalls how this person was once a dangerous shapeshifter, but now she just kind of looks sad and pathetic. And she's actually crying, having failed Robotnik again. She thought he was such a wonderful person, but the last time she fought them, her powers were taken from her and was roboticized as punishment. All of this experience has thoroughly changed her heart, though. She wants nothing to do with Robotnik and doesn't want to work for him anymore. As suddenly, her physical body begins to morph. Despite having lost her powers, she changes to like this smaller, kind of teddy bear-like appearance. It's a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little off-putting. But she accepts her new form and doesn't feel bad anymore. Instead, she feels free and separates from Tails. And Tails calls it a happy ending. Now that's what I like to call a reformed character.
Wow. Incredible.
What a story, folks, huh? Well, anyway, That's a fun story. And now there actually is one more story D here, but it's kind of like this meta off-panel kind of story like the Archie comics did. Just, we're not touching this. Not interested. Sorry, folks. Anyway, let's continue on. We still got some more stuff to go through. Issue 84. Kitching and Elson. Sonic has arrived at the Chaotix base in the Special Zone via the Omni Viewer to warn them of the danger they're in. Not really understanding, Sonic tells them how he absorbed chaos energy a while ago and, under some certain conditions, the energy takes over my body and I become Supersonic, an uncontrollable fiend. Recently, it became more powerful than ever and the Freedom Fighters had to use a warp post to separate Supersonic, and we thought he was done for good, but instead he was sent to the Special Zone. And he stresses again, Supersonic is unstoppable, and SVO does takes his word seriously, but he still waves him away. It's like, all right, man, if we catch word, we'll let you guys know, okay? Sonic, though, stresses again, Supersonic could destroy everything, but Vector's just like, no, man, the Chaotix crew, we can handle this. We can handle anything, man. Yeah, I thought you guys were crazy, but now I'm sure of it.
They're wilding, bro.
That's an easy GG, bro. There's no handle.
Yeah, it's fine, guys. We'll handle it. It's us, okay? We got this.
And, he does admit that they were busy and asks Omni to take them down to Planet Meridian. Sonic has never heard of this place. I thought this Special Zone was just this weird bit, but Charmy's like, no, man, this place is a whole universe in and of itself. We got suns, we got moons, we got everything. And as they go down to this planet, we see a brawl happening between two groups called the Justice Brigade and another called the Discriminators. Awesome names.
Awesome names. Really good stuff, guys. This is totally, completely fine, okay?
Civilians running away from the damage that's about to ensue. The Chaotix and Sonic arrive just as the brawl begins, Vector leading the Chaotix to assist the brigade. But Sonic doesn't really know who is who here. But he's snuck up on by someone about to fight, but he puts up the surrender hands. Oh, hold on, I'm one of the good guys, man. And Sonic takes his word for it until he punches him down, saying actually he's one of the Discriminators. Sonic returns fire, but beyond that, he has no idea what to do. I don't even know what this fight is about. Mighty tells Sonic, look, we're the heroes here, and the heroes fight the villains. It's simple enough, right? Until a civilian says, yo, the cops are here, and everybody, even the Chaotix, make a break for it. And Sonic follows them, why are we running? As Vector explains, look, there just kind of was a little bit of misunderstanding here a while ago, but we're working on clearing our name here, okay? As he and the rest of the group dive into Omni, as in the confusion, a cop holds Sonic at gunpoint, placing him under arrest. Okay, what did these people do? What did they do?
I mean, that's a great question, but more importantly, the cop is depicted as a pig, so
Elson, my goat.
Yeah.
Elson and Kitching, my goats. We'll come back to this shortly. Our Knuckles story again with Kitching and Dobbin. Knuckles is dragging his chest through the forest, really hoping he can use these documents to set the island back up. It's better be worth all this effort. Too bad he had to let Captain Claw go too. With Robotnik in charge, no one can be trusted to keep him locked up. But as night falls, it looks like another night of sleeping out in the open, till he hears something. As Knuckles ends up coming across a village in the middle of this forest, even finding an open tavern this time of night. Inside, he sees they're not the greatest looking people. Still asking for a room for the night. As the proprietor swoops in, he kind of speaks like Foghorn Leghorn a bit, going, a room? Of course I got a room for you, my lad. Tells his boys, take the guest chest up and bring him to their best room. He leads upstairs. Everyone inside figures this guy's probably who we've been looking for. And at night, Knuckles is trying to fall asleep and gets startled by an owl hooting. Wonder if he'll be spooked by his own shadow next time. But that actually wasn't an owl. There's a lot of noise coming from the street below. And out the window, he sees the townspeople parading a woman tied to a rock, supposedly about to begin a witch trial.
Oh, okay. This is not bad, mind you. It's just like, wait, this is happening in a Sonic comic? What?
Knuckles has to deal with a witch trial now? Some Salem, Massachusetts ass shit, bro. I know a lot of our commentary here is either okay or what is happening, but folks, we are baffled. We are truly baffled by the direction this comic takes.
Yeah, there are many, many, many questions.
Story C. Tails once again, Stringer and Corona. Tails is flying about, waved down by someone in a lab coat who offers him a new pair of shoes. He's a sneaker designer, so he says, and offers them as a gift for all the times he's beaten Robotnik. He takes them, intending to go show them off to Sonic, as this designer actually happens to be Grimer in disguise, saying that they'll be much more attractive than you think, you furry fool. And Tails, he's strolling through town, he thinks he's hot shit, he thinks he's him, and it seems like he kinda is. But the people suddenly start to panic and run away from him. There is a missile coming in hot directly for Tails. He flies up to try to change away the missile's course, but the course adjusts as Tails fries. The town is safe, but it's tailing him now. Can't shake it off, and figures the sneakers must have a homing device, taking him off as the missile passes through his legs. Grimer notices that Tails must be tired and slowing down, and goes to increase the speed of the missile so there'll be one less outlaw to worry about. Tails was just going to dump these shoes in the ocean and sees dolphins, so he can't. Plan B. Turns around, Grimer sees the missile heading towards him, and Tails returns them to sender. Grimer self-destructs the missile to protect himself. Tails gets his old shoes back, and for his sake, that's the last time he's taking gifts from strangers. I'd rather dress for comfort anyway. That's a fun little filler story. No harm done there.
Yeah, I mean, at least the idea of Tails getting Jordans is pretty funny.
He was swagged up, bro.
Excuse me. Tails getting Timbs.
Oh, God. You think he'd fuck with Air Forces?
God, are we getting art commissioned of Tails wearing Air Forces?
All right, I know someone out here does art. Do that, please. Request.
Yeah, please. Somebody get him dripped out and wearing Air Forces, please. I beg you.
Our last story in this issue, Stringer and Flint. So we see Sonic running through a financial district, being stopped by two PR people by the name of Snooty and Sneaky, and they try to offer Sonic a reinvention of his image. And he does laugh at their offer. I don't need no makeover, but they disagree, especially showing Sonic that they have Amy prisoner. Sonic then runs around, Sneaky trying to drill him into the ground. Snooty says he's bluffing, but Sonic stops and is willing to play along for now. They end up putting Sonic in kind of what's called an Arnock, which is, I guess, is like a rain poncho. This is just another British moment, folks. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Truly.
And he's wearing the designer's logo. They want them to wear that to advertise their business. And as, of course, Amy will stay unharmed. Seeing badniks fly overhead, he plays along and runs after them, barely dodging the fire, thinking that this poncho is slowing him down, suddenly seeing an arrowhead pierce the badnik. It's Amy. She freed herself from the loose knots they tied her in. So, deal's off. Rips the poncho up, and destroys the other badnik. This leads Sneaky and Snooty to try to get away from Sonic, admitting they're working for Robotnik in the process, which Sonic, of course, overhears. They're tied up, delivered right to Robotnik's door. Of course, he intends to roboticize them. And as in the end, Amy thanks Sonic for looking out for her like that to her expense, which Sonic says maybe he was more making a fashion statement, right? The statement, of course, being you cannot improve on perfection, as our boy turns and winks to the camera. What a lovely little ending to a lovely little story, folks.
Why is he like this, man? Every time I'm like, oh, Sonic can't be more insufferable, he continues to be more insufferable.
What do you mean? He's him, bro. He's him. Let's move on to issue 85. Our story, as always, Story A, Kitching and Elson. So Sonic, we see him locked up in a maximum security cell, and is asked by a cop, what is your involvement with the Chaotix crew? Again, nothing. I don't know what their deal is. I don't know why they're wanted. On top of that, I'm trying to warn you about Super Sonic. Your whole world is in danger. And then out of nowhere, another cop tells him that this man here, Lord Sidewinder, has paid Sonic's bail. The lieutenant says Sidewinder has a lot of nerve to show up here. I ought to arrest you too. As he responds, there was no evidence to link me to that nuclear bomb, and you know it.
Legalize nuclear bombs.
Yeah?
Want to explain that more, buddy? What's the story there? You know what? Kitching, do this more often. Just throw in random shit that'll, scare me a little bit. Tell me more.
Yeah, be a little bit more unhinged, man. Come on.
Come on. The cop lets Sonic go, but don't leave town. I may have more questions for you. In the Chaotix base, they're now kind of in a situation. They didn't tell Sonic that they were wanted, despite Mighty's insistence that they were not guilty of that robbery and will clear our names. All right, you know what? Maybe Kitching went a little too far in the nuclear bomb. We could have gotten a little bit more spicy and say, oh, we weren't guilty of that murder. You know? We could have gotten a little worse, you know?
Yeah, we weren't guilty of a double homicide, man. Come on.
But for now, Vector adds, we gotta rescue Sonic. Omni can't get Sonic from prison. They protect it with an energy barrier. As on the outskirts of Tech City, Sidewinder's Manor, Sonic asks why he paid for his bail, and he'll explain, but I would like to introduce you to my associates. Lightmare, Mr. Fry, and Biohazard. What an excellent group of individuals. Was it Lightmare just looks like a Ninja Gaiden character?
Why do these motherfuckers look like this?
Sonic is kind of figuring out what's going on here, but Sidewinder just tells Sonic, look behind you. And from a golden gate, out comes Super Sonic. Sidewinder says he made a deal with him. Bring him Sonic, and he joins his crew to help take over Planet Meridian. Though Sonic says, look, this guy you kind of encountered, this guy is kind of a monster. He's not capable of making deals. And Supersonic agrees, turning himself into a bomb and leveling all of Sidewinder's house.
Casually.
Supersonic protected all of them in an energy barrier because he wants to take care of them all personally. To handle Supersonic, Fry concocts a potion, drinking it, and basically hulks out to fight Supersonic one-on-one, but he's instantly handled by eye lasers. And Supersonic will take care of the rest in his own time. Right now, I want Sonic. And I want to take my time in destroying you. And Sonic taunts him, taking the eye lasers and quick dodging, hits Supersonic with the super spin attack, but is swatted away. And Supersonic couldn't believe his luck when he heard Sonic followed him into the special zone, but Biohazard charges through Sonic to barrel into Supersonic and pays him no mind, swatting him away as he fires eye lasers to Sonic once again. And Supersonic of course boasts he was once part of Sonic, turning into him in his worst moments, but now, as a separate entity, I aim to destroy, starting with you. We're instantly getting some sauce here, man. I know. The two of them are about to duke it out. Feels good. Feels real good.
This next story is also fucking wild.
Oh my god. I read this story. I was like, there's no fucking way, dude. You can't end it like this. Story B with Kitching and Dobbing. Knuckles. He did not get a good night's rest. He feels like he needs to help that girl tied to the rock and jumps out the window, hoping he's not making a fool of himself here. And if he's wrong, I'll apologize later as he fights the crowd, unbinding the girl from the rock, as the people just like chant hypnotically, must not rescue the sacrifice. Knuckles leads the girl to a safe place he knows, a barn on the outskirts of town, and asks what's going on. And the sheep girl explains that recently the people of this town became a weird cult and decided last night that they need to make a sacrifice to the moon goddess to guarantee a good harvest. Okay, I did not realize I was playing Baldur's Gate, but I continue on.
Okay, I guess.
They can stay here for the night, and tells the girl to rest and he'll keep watch. However, she says that Knuckles clearly has not slept in a hot minute and insists he sleep. Stupidly, he agrees to this, and tells the girl wake him up in an hour and I'll take over watch. Suddenly, Knuckles feels himself poked at with a stick, the townspeople thinking they eluded him. Knuckles asks how they found him, and as it turns out, the girl he saved brought them to him, as he, the Red One, according to their legends, will become the new sacrifice. We're reaching Archie Corn dangerously now.
Yeah, this is getting close to that.
Knuckles is bound, calls them all crazy for thinking a blood sacrifice can improve their crops, and he's told silence. You do not understand our old ways. To which Knuckles is then put in a wicker cage, shouting this is still murder, you will not get away with this. But the leader of their group says ultimately, Robotnik rules Mobius. He doesn't care what we do each other as long as we don't bother him. Something Knuckles did forget as the torches get ever so closer and closer to him.
Bro is about to be burned alive.
And you're not going to believe how the story ends either. Okay. So the C story with Stringer and Flint. The Wood Village zone. A mother calls for her kids to come back inside before he comes back to bother them. And instantly the door is knocked by a trooper. He demands for Robotnik's tax to be paid. And the dad does give up the money, but complains how they can pay on time. You keep coming back for extras and we can't afford to pay much more. The trooper tells him silence before he does something nasty, and he complies. His wife complains he's becoming as useless as the village wimp. Why don't you stand up to him, George? But he did do something which has put out a distress call through his contacts. Hopefully, the message should reach either Sonic or Shortfuse. They could be coming at any moment now. And the supposed answer of that call is Tails. I guess he'll do. Man, these people are such haters for Tails, man. What'd he do to you?
It's awful. Bro gets no respect around here. He does more work than fucking Sonic in this comic.
At this point, yeah. Tails swoops in, thinking that this is the guy bugging the village, and the trooper uncharacteristically runs away into the forest and ends up encountering a trooper platoon. The squad leader says, you're not with our troop, who are you with? As Tails catches up to them, I cannot say at the moment, goodbye. Right as Tails dive bombs the trooper, and the trooper uses very simple tactics like throwing a rock. Tails dodges and he scraps it. But this trooper was already scrapped previously and finds someone inside it, thinking only Badniks had someone inside it. But this guy, he introduces himself as Clive, the village wimp. People think lowly of him because he's more into machines than sports, so he disguised himself as a trooper to teach him a lesson. Do you think that Stringer has like a chip on his shoulder?
I think so. Just a little.
No, like hate, no hate. I'm just asking questions. I am just asking questions. Tails asked if he built the shell himself, but he didn't. This was a trooper Sonic scrapped, and I just pieced it back together. While Tails is impressed, you still kind of did a bad thing, stealing money from people, you know? And you could have gotten in big trouble, but they're already in trouble enough being chased after by that trooper platoon, and before Tails can fly away, they fire a web net over them, imprison both Tails and Clive, to be taken to Citadel Robotnik. Lovely.
I see.
Anyway, our last story of this issue, Stringer and Corona. We see a theme park. People lining up to try the Pit Plunge roller coaster, hoping to take their minds off Robotnik, as the technician thinks not to bet on it. The riders take off. Behind, we see someone in a shawl in the last car, taking the plunge into total darkness. Upon reaching the bottom, they find themselves surrounded by troopers, pulling them out of the cars to roboticize them, as this whole ride was a trap to begin with. The guy in the shawl, though, challenges the troopers to a fight and fires an energy beam from his wrist. Disrobing, it's Short Fuse, flying into action. He's still too late to save the people from being roboticized and orders the processor to turn on. But quick thinking, Short Fuse thinks the right way to disrupt a process is to just rip the power cord in half, taking pure electricity, and it short circuits him and he keels over. The machine may be useless now, but the troopers can still take in Short Fuse. Alas though, he was merely faking the pain and fires on the Shri troopers. As above ground, the ride operator gamble once again, counting his earnings from charging people to their entrapment, until Short Fuse drags the cars back up the tracks and demands he give the people a refund. But he's just like, hey, look, I don't know nothing, man. I don't know nothing, okay? I was just in charge of making it go, okay? I was honest. And Short Fuse obviously was like, all right, I can't prove anything. I'll let you go. But if I catch wind of anything, I will be coming back here. And Gamble is a bit gleeful to know that Short Fuse is kind of a trusting fool. But for good measure, Short Fuse breaks the tracks and flies off with Gamble just taking the loss. And a little funny, little end to the story, because there's a hashtag ad blurb to go visit Sega World. Insane plug for this story.
Yeah, absolutely insane. To just end the story with, yeah, by the way, go visit fucking Sega World. Go now, bye.
Insane plug. Very funny, but we'll end it off. The last comic that we got here today, issue 86. Kitching and Elsing with our first story, as always. So we got two in a standoff. Supersonic saying, as long as Sonic exists, there's a risk of me becoming part of you again. I cannot allow that. And then Omni's light appears, pushing through the chaotics, with the police reports they found being accurate. Sidewinder takes the opportunity and has the boys fight the chaotics, as Sonic's side asks Omni for help with an idea. Charmy fights with Lightmare, who's able to subdue him to a box of nightmares. In Charmy's case, is him being sprayed with bug spray. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Supersonic fires his eye lasers to Sonic. One mistake and you're doomed, as Sonic asks Omni, are you ready to go? The Chaotix are going back and forth on their respective fights, seen in a 2-page spread, as Omni places himself behind Supersonic. As Sonic shouts, now Omni! Sonic pushes himself and Supersonic into the screen. Sonic swims out, tells Omni to send Supersonic to some far-off dimension. However, Omni refuses. Wherever we send Supersonic, he'll cause rampant destruction wherever he goes. He's our problem to deal with. As Supersonic is about to fly out of Omni's screen, only one finger is able to cross the screen as he suddenly freezes in place. Omni is no longer responsive. Vector says Sidewinder escaped, but what happened to Omni? Then as they return to the Chaotix' home base, Vector explains that Omni can control time as well as space, so he stopped time with himself in order to trap Supersonic. The perfect prison. Sonic even says it traps Omni as much as it does Supersonic, so we really do owe him. As we see in the back, Charmy kind of looking at the frozen Supersonic, not really making sense of the whole situation.
A few weeks later, however, Charmy is looking at the Omniviewer and finds that something is off. Supersonic's hands have changed position. I better tell Vector, and nah, he'll only shout at me again. It probably doesn't matter anyways. Oh well.
Uh-oh.
I know you're doing this for dramatic effect, but it's still frustrating.
Well, you know what, folks? There's a lesson here to learn. What is it, folks? This is the clear sign of abuse. That's right, folks. I'm calling it here. Clear-cut sign of abuse.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, we'll be following up with that in the future. And our B story, if you thought that ending was silly, you'll see this one.
Yeah, this one is also even more silly.
Kitching and Dobbing. Moments away from Knuckles being, being burned alive to be sacrificed to the moon goddess. Oh, right, of course. Knuckles shouts at the girl he saved, I helped you, and this is the thanks you give me? Why? She doesn't have an answer for him, but when pushed, She explains to him that their legends say the red one is to die at their hands, and if you don't die, my brothers will sacrifice me. Oh, better me than you, huh? But he notices that the leader, Mesmer, holds this staff up when he speaks to the villagers. I wonder. As Knuckles pushes against the cage, the people mock him as he struggles, but he's not looking to break the bars, just move away from the fire. And the cage, bottom on fire, begins to roll, leaving a trail of fire in the grass as he moves, hoping what is in the distance is what he thinks it is. As it is, a river lands in, setting off both the fire and freeing Knuckles, the townspeople thinking that he can't fight against all of them, and hopefully Knuckles won't need to. He snatches Mesmer's staff away, holding up, and tells the people they have been in a trance, and demands they wake up to their true selves. And the people slowly come to their senses, as Knuckles tells everyone, go home, I'll handle things here, and asks Mesmer what the deal is. As from behind the tree, the landlord of the tavern comes around and says it's better off asking him, cause it's fucking Robotnik in disguise.
Bro was wearing a chicken suit for some ungodly reason. Jesus Christ, man.
How many fursuits does he have, you think?
A lot.
Like, okay, this being Robotnik, completely unnecessary. This was not how you needed to end the story whatsoever. So Robotnik explains, Mesmer here is a talented hypnotist, convincing everyone here to follow the ancient sun goddess. It was merely a test though. I wanted to find a way to expand his power so the people could be fully under my control. And Knuckles won't let that happen, as he taunts, oh yeah? What are you gonna do about that? I'm the ruler of this planet. You can't send me to prison. I'm perfectly safe. Unless you plan on killing me. Knuckles turns his back, walking away. Don't tempt me, egg breath.
Okay. So, staff wasn't broken. Mesmer wasn't punished. Just nothing.
Great job, Knuckles.
Wow, real great age.
You know what? He has his priorities elsewhere. Where's that chest, by the way? I hope it didn't get stolen from him.
I mean, it probably did.
Oh, no. So Story C, Stringer, and Flint. Tails and Clive are marched to a shuttle bound to a wall with electronic cuffs. Tails tries to climb Clive down by telling him there's always a way to escape. I've been in situations like this many, many times, which does not necessarily inspire confidence in him. And Tails just tries to yank his wrist out, but gets an electric shock. No go there. Clive just pulls a screwdriver out of nowhere, removes the panel to see if he can release the lock from behind the wall. Moving quick though, the guard is looking suspicious, but they pull it off and they're free. However, they did not just cut power to the cuffs, they cut off the entire power supply of the shuttle, and now they are in free fall. They go to the emergency exit just before the shuttle crashes on the face of a mountain. Tails and Clive fly out for a smooth descend, but one trooper emergency ejected, shooting at them in the air. Thinking fast, Tails moves to the parachute, they cut a hole through it with Clive's screwdriver, and the trooper is now in total freefall. So the two land near the village safely, Clive being very apologetic. If I didn't hide myself as a trooper, I wouldn't have gotten you in this situation. And Tails like, you know what, man? I guess you've learned your lesson. Just pay back the money you've conned from the villagers, and I think they'll forgive you. So they return to the village, and Tails explained how Clive here helped them escape and defeat Robotnik's troopers, which does earn the respect of the people. And Tails takes his leave, saying, and I quote, after this, I hope Clive's cured from making of an ass of himself in the future. I love the 90s.
The 90s were definitely the time of all times. Hey, are you guys ready for a really, really, really big jump scare that's going to make you laugh really hard knowing our history with this fucking series and the comics?
You're not ready for this. You're really not.
Okay, let's just go.
Story D, Stringer and Corona. A typical day. A typical day for the freedom fighters. They're fighting badniks, defending a village, the usual stuff. Johnny sees two badniks trying to escape the fight, Sonic giving chase to them and takes them out quickly. But he doesn't really look where he lands, planting down some purple liquid and is sinking Sonic. The freedom fighters don't really know how to help until suddenly a blue blur moves in fast, pulling Sonic out to their relief. But they get a good look at who saved Sonic. This guy, catching his breath, claims to be Sonic from 50 years into the future.
Mobius 50 years later, baby, let's go!
How does this keep happening? How does this keep happening?
Alright, I'm calling it now. Pender stole the Mobius 25 years later idea from this.
You know what? Let's continue onward, and we'll make a judgment later. They're all shocked to see what they're seeing, of course. Sonic, though, obviously does not buy the story. Whoever or whatever you are working for Robotnik. Although future Sonic slaps him around, listen, would I have saved you if I was? And you know time travel is possible thanks to the time stones. So look, listen, I came back in time to warn you. Let me guess, don't trust strangers, right? Can the sarcasm and listen. Unless you change your fighting methods, something is going to doom the people of this planet, and your actions will be of no help. Still not believing in him, but Tails did have his own weird time-related adventure a sec ago, but Sonic does have an idea how to clear things up. He takes his future self to the chemical plant zone, meeting a doctor that he saved before and wanted to pay them back. Cashing in this favor, the doctor took cell samples from the both of them, and the test results come back in 100% match. This is, without a doubt, Sonic the Hedgehog from the future. All right, folks. What have we learned today? What have we learned today? That's the end of this issue. That's the end of all of our comics that we got today. This was just a roller coaster ride, wasn't it, folks?
So I think the thing I want to say is that all of the main stories involving the Supersonic shit, grade A. 10 out of 10. Awesome stuff. Fucking really cool. I really, really enjoyed the fact that Supersonic is a core threat and feels like a core threat, and they're not finished with this shit yet. They clearly have a ton more planned for us. On the other hand, some of these side stories, what is going on, man? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? This is something that I think that now that we are at the point where Sonic the comic has clearly completely taken over the entire comic, right? Sonic has taken over this entire comic. There's no other Sega games. I want the short form stories to end. I think that it's time. The comic is not being served by all these side stories anymore, and I think that's starting to become the case. I know that it's to allow facilitation of things, but I also think that we're starting to reach a point where if you're going to have a more centralized narrative, they can't be shorter stories. They need to be more fleshed out.
I agree. So let's see here. The main story, obvious, we have that. I am completely okay, and I accept having a Knuckles side story because these side stories are like truly side stories. I am completely convinced that reading them, they feel parallel what's going on to the main story. They do feel like there's substance there. Knuckles is right now trying to get back to the floating island with the documents that he's gotten from Captain Plunder. There's continuity here. There's structure there. Having a Sonic and Knuckles story, great. A Tails story, I understand why they have a Tails story, but it does feel like it's overkill because there's not much going on there, you know? And having a D story as well, it's nice to have it, but at the same time, it's not continuous with anything that's going on in Kitching stories, really. If it feels more in mesh with what's going on, again, I'm willing to accept that. Or even better, strike the story D altogether and add those pages among the A, B, and C stories. That could be a perfect compromise.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree, but I would also just like to everything to be centralized to one story at some point. I feel like we're due for it, but we'll see what happens moving forward. The Knuckles cult story is extremely funny. The Revolution story was all right. I couldn't really care that much about any of the Tails stories. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. There's nothing really interested me there. But for the most part, though, the stories in this set of comics was pretty good.
Yeah, and then we got a jump scare with Mobius 50 years later.
Yeah, I hope you guys are fucking ready for that. I don't know what the fuck's coming next.
Oh, Stringer, what were you cooking with that? But folks, like I said, end of this episode, what do we got next time around? Okay, we're going straight through with Fleetway Sonic. Issues 87 to 93 will be what we're looking at. That's exciting. Cannot wait. We're getting very close to issue 100. We're getting very close.
Yeah, I know. I wonder what comes in issue 100.
I know that like they don't seem to be following the convention of like the milestone issues, but still 100 issues. That's still a big deal. They got to do something big for that. They have to.
Maybe it'll just be business as usual and we'll get another 5 Tails stories.
5 Tails stories. Anyway, folks, we got to do our usual business, but we got some good news for today, folks, because we got a new friend joining us on the Patreon. Zio Haas joining the Patreon at $2 a month. Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you here.
Welcome, my friend.
And at Zayo's tier, $2 a month, you get the episodes early, along with a bunch of other stuff that comes in early, and also our bonus show where we have been right now reacting to Sonic X. And folks, let me tell you, after seeing all the Sonic 90s cartoons of mixed quality, Sonic X is such a crazy breath of fresh air.
It is extremely good.
We are only 6 episodes deep, but man, oh man, they feel like the best 6 Sonic episodes of anything we've seen yet. It's kind of funny to think about, honestly. That's $2 a month, $5 a month, you get that, and our pre-show, which is just, us talking about what's going on in gaming, our personal lives, updates, and stuff like that. You got some real interesting stuff in there. Usually comes in like 45 minutes or even an hour long. You're basically getting an extra half of the show. And For $15 a month, it's all of that on the $2 and $15 tier and a video version of our podcast. And folks, check out patreon.com/SonicSpeed, 7-day free trials across all of our tiers. And we'll hopefully see you guys next time for more of what I hope is the lead up to what issue 100 could be. I really wonder.
Wonder too.